Our region's business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you.
Now it's time for our weekly segment on dollars and cents. Today we're taking to the field, or at least to downtown Pittsburgh, where PNC Bank is deconstructing a half block of buildings to make way for what's billed as the greenest skyrise in the world. What's deconstruction and why does it make economic sense? Well, after a decade of building green, PNC has the track record to know. I caught up with Gary Saulson on Wood Street. He heads real estate for PNC. So let's just start with what the heck is deconstruction?
Okay, so deconstruction is where we're actually taking apart the building by components and segregating the building into various parts, and then we're recycling those parts. So it's really a three-phase process. The first process was to go through the buildings and to remove all of the hazardous material, all the asbestos and so on, and do a complete abatement. The second process was to have construction junction go through the building and remove those things which they could reclaim and resell. So that would be doors, locks, any kind of hardware, ceiling tile. Sometimes there's tin ceilings in some of the buildings, light fixtures, electrical components, and so on. And the third part is deconstruction, where we're taking apart the remaining pieces, and we hope to recycle as much as 95% of the building. So we'll be taking the metal and the steel will be made into new steel. We hope to be buying a lot of recycled steel for the project. A lot of the aggregate or the cement will be ground up and used as fill on site. Actually, we'll be underground for as much as a year, putting in the substructure of the building as well as the underground parking garage. So you actually won't see a lot of activity above ground for as much as a year from now. But a lot of this material will be used on site, and that which is not used on site will be recycled.
I take it you've done this before.
Yes, we have. We started with the public safety building, where we deconstructed that building, and it was, I think, the largest deconstruction at the time. It was in the early 2000s. And then we deconstructed the buildings that went to become 3 PNC Plaza and did exactly the same thing. And in this case, we're also going to be working with an archaeologist where once we start the excavation, if we find something that we think would be of interest to her, we'll stop our work, and she'll have a certain amount of hours to come and put together a team and go through and hopefully find some things. With 3 PNC, we found 23,000 different items, some of which are set to go on display in the next couple of months that have not yet been on display, including an antique pistol that would have been carried in a woman's purse.
Oh my gosh. You know, they say time is money. Wouldn't it just be a lot faster and cheaper to bring in a wrecking ball, knock it down, and haul it all away?
Actually, they call the wrecking ball the headache ball, and thinking about that gives me a headache. Actually, it's an economical thing for us to do because we're actually selling the steel and we're selling the metals and the other materials that we're segregating. So it's only a matter of really segregating these materials as opposed to bringing in the big wrecking ball and then shipping everything to the landfill. So we're actually diverting as much as, let's say, 95% of materials that would ordinarily go to a landfill that now won't go to the landfill.
So it's really, what is this, a cradle-to-grave philosophy about building green?
It really is cradle to grave. Where we're trying to do as much as we can, and then the building itself obviously will be green as well.
If you'd like to find out more about our region's leadership in green building and other energy-related industries, check out powerofpittsburgh.com.